Hey everyone, back here today. It's been a while. Been a little busy, just getting stuff finished up for next year. So yeah, biggest thing is that I've been a little busy. We have a feed mill. They're short some drivers, so we've been up there working. Caden's actually working on the mill. I was driving truck. Anyways, back here today. Working on, I don't know where we all left off, but we're working on the Drago head. So already we switched out the points up here. There's a sharper point on them than what these are. These are more of a, they're not as pointy, let's say that. So last year's we had a lot of issues with down corn. We have a variety that goes down quite a bit, and maybe we're missing something, but this corn head, we had a lot of issues that would not pick up the corn. The corn is like, last year was 14, 15 feet tall, very tall corn. I mean, the ears are, I mean, I'm 5'11", 6 foot, we'll just say 6 foot, and the ears are probably head height. It's prone to going down, so when it's that tall, if you can imagine here, if the snouts are down and it's laying, I mean, it lays across probably 2, maybe 3 rows here. So what happened was we couldn't even really get underneath it with these points. These would kind of bunch up. Our John Deere cornhead kind of has pointer points like this. So anyways, it would come in and we had a hard time. It would actually come up on the middle here, and it would actually sit like right here, and it wouldn't get caught back in. So we found out a few things we didn't know. I mean, these we can take off. It should help feed it. And then, I mean, most gathering chains are kind of set this way, a little bit spaced apart. But we found out that, you know, we should probably move this in further, like a little bit ahead of it, and that'll help pick it up because you're going slow anyways. So that was an issue. And then also this auger, early on in the season, these were not aligned correctly. And I'm not just trying to bash, I'm not bashing Drago, it's the Drago GT. There's a few things that we weren't overly impressed with. And it was mainly the fact that these were not aligned correctly and no one caught that, which was really frustrating. So what was happening was this would grab and bring it in, and this actually shoves it into this auger, which then this grabs it. What was happening was there was gonna be a gap, about 2 foot gap. This was shoving it, and it could shove it, shove, and there's a pile that would pile up because this could never grab it. Well, then all of a sudden this grabbed it. Well, it was a big wad, and it would just, the slip clutch would go. So found out that was the issue, and we really didn't have a whole lot of help from our dealership in town here, which was a little, I mean, they do good. I will admit, they bailed us out. So that day we figured out what was wrong, but we ran probably, I don't know, we probably ran 1,000 acres before we figured out that was actually the issue. And actually, I wasn't even running the combine. I was getting frustrated with it, so I had my dad run it, and he had someone come out, and we had people out before that. I mean, lots of times. No one could figure it out. Well, all of a sudden, we had a different guy come out, and he figured it out. So we took it into Red Power, and then within that night, they worked later, and they got up earlier and got it done, which, thank you very much. But anyways, they replaced that slip clutch then down there, just to get us through the year. Put 2 new augers in because there's a piece actually in there that comes together and then it locks in. Well, those were all rounded out because obviously they weren't aligned correctly. And then with obviously this being a folding corn head, so if people don't know, a folding corn head, the outsides here fold up on top, so you go to road transport, so you don't have to unhook your head. Anyways, then we had this issue where there's a piece I'm not even gonna be able to see. So there's a piece in there that locks this, and when this unfolds, this piece right here slides out, and then which releases it, or locks it in. But what happened was I was going down the road, and this, when I was folded in, something happened where it got locked in the position it was supposed to be. So when I got to the field, I folded it down, which then bent a bunch of stuff. But anyways, they replaced all that under warranty. Then they replaced the slip clutch down there, because what happened was this slip clutch went bad, and then over time that slip clutch went bad, so they replaced both. So we got 2 new slip clutches now. They replaced all of that, and then we bought new tips, pointer tips. And then also, like I said, with that tall corn, the corn was tall, so what happened was is actually we had to run our head really high. I mean, I'm saying in organic world you want residue chopped up pretty nice. I mean, obviously everybody does, but what was happening was we chopped so high that then we mock till to chop it up, the residue more. Then we come and plow. Well, the residue is still too high. I mean, there's still too much, so our plows get plugged, so all sorts of issues. So this year, they, so what was happening is, anyways, to go back a second here, we put these roll cones on to help with down corn as well. So this shield was not here before. So what happened was the corn's really tall, the corn would come down, and if it didn't, so we have a 24-row corn head, or 24-row planter, and a 16-row corn head. So if your corn doesn't come down straight, it would actually come at an angle, and it would hit the side, and the ears would just pluck off. I mean, it was like, I think we figured out in 100 yards, we probably lost over 50 ears, which doesn't seem like a lot, but start doing the numbers, that's a big number. So we put these tall corn shields on, so we're trying those out this year to see if that'll help. And the problem is the reason we were a little frustrated with Drago is because we told people all about our complaints. Our dealership, like I said, I can't blame them, because they communicated with a guy at Drago rep for the North, West, Central, South Dakota, Minnesota, the head rep, and we're having issues, and he said he was on vacation in the middle of fall with his kids, which is fine. I get that. You got to have vacations, but it's like, all right, dude, you work for Drago, their cornhead dealership. I mean, that was kind of frustrating for us. And he finally showed up, he had his vacation, didn't show up even the next week. He then showed up 2 weeks later, and we're actually, last day of harvest, he showed up, which is kind of frustrating for us. And we told him all of our issues. He's like, oh yeah, we got pointer tips. Oh yeah, we have tall corn shields. Oh yeah, this is what you do for this. And it's like, you couldn't communicate that to us. So, not saying, not trying to bash on Drago. I'm just saying for us, we haven't had very good luck. So, I think they have their place. For instance, which is nice, because coming to this year, we got dry corn. So we're gonna have ears small, big, or no corn at all. But anyways, like I'll show you. So this deck plate is actually self-adjusting. I don't know if you can see that, it's kind of rusty. So these deck plates go in and out by themselves. So if you have a taller stalk or a thicker stalk come in here, comes in, this will widen out, and as it goes down, obviously the stalk gets skinnier, this will tighten back up, and then the ear will hit this, and then it'll go fed in. Also, what's nice is that these cushions. So I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. I don't know if you can see that. So these deck plates, they have a spring underneath, so they're more cushioned. I don't know if you can see that. So you don't have as much butt shatter or head loss is what people will call it. Now, the thing is for us, we combine corn at very high moisture, and I understand butt shattering is a big deal in dry corn. So with us, we want to be able to get into the field early. We'll combine corn at 30%, try and get started, start doing tillage, get going on the year. So we did a side-by-side with the deer versus the Drago, and we really didn't see anything, and that's because we're combining 25+% moisture corn. So if we were doing 16, oh, I'm sure there's a difference, but our average moisture we combined last year was 26%. Our driest corn we combined was 19.5, that was an 80, and then it was 22, and then 24%, 3 different fields, all probably 80 to 100 acres. After that, it was all 25+. So like I said, I'm not saying we won't see more benefits in the future, but as of now, not sure if it really makes sense for us. Anyways, I'll tell you a little more about the Drago head. A lot of grease zerks. Lots of grease zerks. I don't know if that's good or bad. I mean, on a deer corn head, maybe I'll show you sometime. They don't have grease zerks here on the front sprockets or the back ones or the gathering chains. And there is a grease zerk on the stock rolls. I'm not saying that's good or bad either, but on a John Deere corn head, I don't have any of that issues. Drago will say, I'm not saying people do this, and maybe I am way too picky, but there's a special wand that you're supposed to lay underneath this to get all the dirt out, so you keep having this cushioning effect. Clean this all out every day. There are some guys around here that don't do that every day. Maybe do it every 3 days, and some guys don't even do it at all. I mean, they just be like a regular corn head. But I may be picky, I don't know. I clean, well, I will say this corn head captures a lot more weeds, which probably captures more corn too, but captures if you have any grass seed or weed seed, definitely captures and holds weeds on the gathering chains more than our deer corn head, which don't know if that's good or bad, but that's the things we've seen. Now, obviously, like I said, if you're a conventional guy, you don't combine until after 20% corn, and you don't obviously have any weeds because you can spray, this corn head would probably be very ideal for you. So anyways, if we had to do it over, we would probably still go with the Drago head for our so I should say what we have now. We have on our Kloss combine. We had a Lexion 760 780 last year. Now we have a Kloss 8700. So like I said, it might be workout good. I know there's quite a few people in our area, especially because Drago's headquarters for North America is in Fenton, Iowa, which is 20 minutes, 30 minutes from north of us. That's probably the main reason we went with this, just because the North America dealership was so close. And also it was a lot cheaper than we priced out a Gearinghoff roto disc and a Gearinghoff, I think it was a Horizon that has the blades. I'm not even sure on that, so don't quote me. And then we actually priced out a 16-row John Deere folding corn, all 16 rows, on all folding heads. And this came back quite a bit cheaper. Obviously, some people will say, well, that's what you get for paying for something cheaper. I get it. We really like the roto disc, but since residue is such a big thing, and if you don't know what a roto disc, all it is your stalk rolls, which pull the corn in right down there. These are more, there's I think 4 sides that pull together on both stalk rolls. I can't even show you because I don't have hands. But a roto disc is what it does is actually discs that pull it down that kind of shred the stalk as it comes down. So the problem is it does that, but it can leave a nice long stalk. But if you look at it, you can pull it apart and it just peels apart pretty easy. So it's shredded and there's more surface area, but it's still a long stalk that's somewhat intact. And so when we bring a plow in, it plugs still. So that's a problem. So that's like with the chopping head. Like I said, if you're doing conventional roto disc, I've never ran one, never demoed one. There's some guys around here that run some, and it saves you lots of horsepower. I mean, most corn heads you're gonna see on a Kloss combine is probably a Geringhoff roto disc. This head is a horsepower hog. Lots of horse. I mean, it takes a lot of horsepower. That's kind of why we went with an 8700 and a 780, is to get the horsepower we needed. It's just because, I mean, these are, they call them, farmers will call these lawnmower blades, because that's pretty much what they are, which they need to get flipped. So this is the side it's cutting on. So it swings counterclockwise. So it lifts it up, cuts it. This side's still sharp. These were new last year, so we're gonna flip these all around. And then this side, when it's on the other side, it actually self-sharpens. I mean, it won't be super sharp, but it extends the life of your blades. And obviously, the duller your blades are, then that's gonna mean that it's gonna take more horsepower to cut, because it's gonna have to, it can't just slice through, it's more beating it through it. So, yeah. So today I decided to, we've actually had this in here for a while. Like I said, we got busy with other stuff. We've been obviously working on servicing 3020s, 4020s. So yeah, hopefully that music in the background's not too loud. I'm here by myself. Caden's obviously doing other things, so kind of just here by myself. So anyways, I'm going to grease everything. I gotta check all the gearboxes yet. But I'll show you why I decided to just do this quick. Show you here. So we had to add, another thing is a Kloss combine. I think the lifting capacity, don't quote me on this, is like 13,000 or something. Got some grease on my hat. So thing is this corn head weighs, I think, like 14,800 pounds. So this combine actually won't even lift this corn head. So in order to do this, we had to add a third cylinder. So there's a cylinder over there, and then there's two here. We added the center one. So what I got to do is I need to unhook the corn head, and then I got to tie in hydraulic hoses into this one. But I need to lift this up, put the stops in, and then release all the pressure. So yeah, I mean, you'll see that Caden said that when I was back into the shop here, maybe you'll have a video of that, the tires pretty much came off the ground. I mean, you can see that there's really not a lot of pressure on that wheel. So yeah, I would say hopefully, yeah, and we had issues this last year with the 780 too. I mean, I can tell that sometimes when I turn, I don't really turn. I mainly just slide because the back end's off the ground or barely turning. So I can't turn as sharp, which is fine. And if we have to, we can always add, I think, liquid to the tires, or I know our Kloss dealership said he's had guys add weights to the back. But we'd rather not do that because obviously we have warranty and we don't want to mess with all that. So we'd like to just keep it the way it is. So yeah, anyways, that's what I got to do yet. And then I have to check these gearboxes. So what this is my problem, is I got to get that cylinder hooked up because I need to calibrate the head. And then plus I got to get underneath this head, and it only lifts it probably another foot off the ground here. I mean, it's 2 feet off the ground, I'd say. So it goes about 3 feet up, and I need to get underneath because I want to flip all those blades. And there's some grease zerks on this shaft that runs all the gearboxes. There's some grease zerks on that I gotta go get. And really, I probably don't have to go get them. I think they're like a 200 hour. When I put this away, it was all greased up. I'm just giving it another 2 pumps just to make sure we're all good to go. So I lift it all the way up to do that, and I got to calibrate the combine, change all the blades, and then I got to put it back down. And I need to put it down to where the working position is, because then I need to check this gearbox. There's a gearbox down here that runs all this, the stock rolls, this, but I gotta take that out, this plug, see if there's oil in all of them. And like I said, I checked all these before I put it away, so I'm hoping I just gotta zip them out quick. It'll be good to go, put them right back in. Trying to think what else I really got to do with this. I looked at the manual, and the chopping on the John Deere, there's oil you got to check up here, like I said, this one, and then on the chopping you got to check oil on the John Deere as well. But with this is all one big bath, I guess, of oil, so you don't have to. And the John Deere head we took to John Deere, they had a program going on where if we took in a combine, a cornhead, and a tractor, and you get points, and then you get 10% off for parts if you need them, or you can do, I don't even know what it all were actually, to be honest. But anyways, we did the program, so they went through our cornhead. Right now our Deere's in there. We had it in there earlier, but we had a GPS issue or last field of oats. Something to do with the steering. We think the sensor's bad, so we're gonna replace the sensor. And then also the injectors were getting kind of bad, so we told them just to go through and replace all the injectors, because like I said, if we have down corn this year, we're hoping we can run this cornhead, but if we can't, we know the Deere one will pick up corn. So last year when we had the issues, we had a whole quarter that went flat. The Deere did that. This combine went and finished up all the other stuff. So we have 2 grain carts, and the field that was down was close, so whenever he filled the grain cart, he just raided our leg site. They brought a truck over, unloaded the grain cart, put the cart back where it was, and then took the truck, unloaded it. So yeah, that's kind of the plan. It is August 17th, not September, thank goodness. August 17th. We're 6 weeks away from harvest yet. That's what I've been told. I think we're closer than that. Last year we started combining September 8th, which is early, really early. Usually we don't start for September 15th, which is 5 weeks. I'm guessing we're 5, maybe pushing the 4, but I'm guessing more 5. Especially if we don't get any more rain. We did get about an inch of rain, and we've gotten a few showers, didn't amount to much, maybe a 1/10 or 2, but we'll take it, take what we can get. If we keep getting rain, it's been really cool. Like today, I think it's the hottest day it's been this last week, which is 78. It's pretty humid, no wind, sun's out, kind of partially cloudy. We've been, a lot of the days have been like 73, very humid and cloudy, so which is good. If people think, oh, why is that good? Well, we have a lot of tip back. Tip back means the cob grew to say this tall, and now it's like this tall. Now it's not, it's bigger than that, but the tip back is that the corn had potential to reach a larger ear. It got dry, so it reduced its ear. The only way you're gonna make up yield again is test weight. And obviously on cooler days, gives corn more chance to put energy into the kernels, so we get higher test weight, so hopefully our yield, we can get some yield back. It's very hard. You'd rather have the kernels, but it's one of those years that sounds like to me is everybody's kind of having a bad year. I mean, I'm not saying everybody, but for us anyways, we have a pretty big drought. Sounds like Texas totally burned up. There's a guy on YouTube I watch sometimes in Alabama. Sounds like they're not having a very good year unless the corn's under irrigated. So it's just, sounds like a lot of people are either too wet or too dry, or a lot of issues that people really are kind of confused about. So So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen, but the year it's gonna be what it's gonna be. So yeah, hopefully later this year, I mean, Caden will be back in school, but hopefully I can get some footage of this combine running, and I probably won't get like drone footage, but I'm hoping to get maybe like in the cab while we're combining. So yeah. So we'll see. But I am going to get back to work here and get that cylinder hopefully done. So see you later. Well, that took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. Well, I need to tighten that up yet. I'll be right back. Alright guys, so I don't really know. I kind of watched through what Carson recorded. But I'm back now. It's however many days later after Carson was dinking around with this thing and working on it. I am now back. I'm done working at the mill for now at least. Still working on this rig. Carson's gone through the cornhead, it looks like. I don't really know what he's done to it. Looks like he greased it and went through everything, but yeah, all the points are done. I see that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what he's got left to do on the cornhead specifically. I'm gonna assume that was him and he made a mess, because that is what Carson does. He makes a mess. See, look at that. He tried to cover it up with floor dry. Tell you what, I assume it was something with that cylinder. But what I have been doing to this combine, and Carson has been laughing at me, so we took this off because even when you just start the combine up idled, this whole thing shakes. I mean, it's only a matter of time before every single bolt, all the nuts just come right off or something breaks. I mean, it happened on the 8700 we had as a loaner. I mean, something was busted on it. It happens over time. That thing shakes back here. So what I did was I took the triangle off that, because, you know, you get in an accident or something and you don't have this or whatnot. I don't know. So yeah, just took a plate,
cut a plate out off of whatever over there, and I drilled some holes. There's a little bracket right here that you can see, maybe, that has some holes in it, so I drilled some holes in this plate, put some bolts in, and yeah, drilled another hole through this on here. Hopefully that don't go nowhere. Don't think it will. Solid as a rock.